Then I will call to order the teleconference meeting of the Building and Operating Committee of Thursday, June 24th, 2021. The time is 10:30 a.m. Before we begin, this meeting is being recorded, everyone should know. Madam Secretary, please call the roll.
Thank you. Good morning again, everyone. Director Cochran.
Here.
Director Fredericks.
Here.
Director Hernandez. Absent. Director Maston.
Here.
Thank you. Director Rabbit. Absent. Vice Chair Garbarino.
Here.
Thank you. Chair Theriault.
Here.
And President Parr.
Here.
Thank you. You have a quorum. You're not quite a committee of the whole. Also on the line, you have Director Hill, Director Grosball, and Director Snyder. So once you hit 10, I'll let you know that you're a committee of the whole. But at this time, you're not. On the line, General Manager Dennis Mulligan.
Yes.
Joe Wire.
Yes.
Ava Bauer-Furbish.
Hello.
Present.
Thank you. Steve Miller. No. Mona Babata is still here.
Present.
Perfect. Jim Swindler.
Present.
Present. Kelly Hopper.
Present.
Thank you. And Kim Manolius.
Present.
Thank you. That confirms staff on the line. And
Okay.
let's see, David Rabbit has just joined us. So Director Rabbit is back with us as well.
Thank you. Does that make us committee of the whole, or
It sure does.
Morning,
we have
everybody.
Just over to
Thanks
committee
for
of the
being
whole.
here. I'm also on a Golden Gate Bridge Board call. I'm going to try to try.
That's fine. Put yourself on mute for the other call, please.
That's right.
Okay, so
Thanks,
thanks everyone. And here comes the announcement about mutes and non-muting. I would like to remind everyone to mute their phones until after staff's presentation, and remember to unmute when we open for director's discussion. After the staff's presentation, I'll ask for comments and/or questions on the item. If there are questions, the secretary or I will call on you accordingly. After our discussion, we will ask for any public comment before taking a roll call vote. Each page of the meeting packet is numbered on the bottom right-hand corner for ease of following along. We'll start with item number 3 on the agenda to approve actions relative to professional services agreement number 2010-B1, Golden Gate Suspension Bridge, Seismic and Wind Retrofit Phase 3B Design Services with HDR Engineering, Inc. to perform wind tunnel testing of the suspension bridge sound attenuation measures. Staff report begins on page 3, and Chief Engineer Ava Bauer-Furbish is on the line to present the report. Ms. Bauer-Furbish, go ahead, please.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. In the agenda item number 3 report, staff is asking for the committee and the board to authorize to proceed with the second series of wind tunnel tests to verify whether potential mitigation measures developed based on the results of the first series of wind tunnel tests could attenuate wind-induced sound generated by the new suspension bridge railing. Last year in July, the district engaged services of HDR Engineering and its subconsultant, RWDI, RWDI possesses expertise in aerodynamics, acoustics, and wind tunnel testing. So we retained the consultant to conduct wind tunnel testing and acoustic studies on full-scale specimens of the new bridge railing and wind fairing in order to replicate in the laboratory the wind-induced sounds and to determine what modifications, if any, could be made to reduce or eliminate the sound without impairing the effectiveness of the wind retrofit. Wind tunnel testing was conducted by RWDI in October and November last year. The consultant developed and tested a series of different modifications of the railing to determine the effectiveness of the modifications in preventing the emanation of sound. This test verified that the sound was generated by interaction between railing pickets and wind flowing around the pickets. The test also verified that the railing post, the top rail, and the wind fairing were not engaged in the sound generation. Sound camera measurements taken at the bridge and subsequent measurements taken during wind tunnel tests show that the wind-induced sound consists of low and high frequency dominant tones. Each railing picket is 3/8 of an inch thick and 4 inches wide. It's basically a flat bar. The mitigation option consisting of C-shaped clips, or I call them sometimes trims, fitted over the 3/8 inch thick edges of picket showed an ability to significantly reduce the low frequency tone, which appeared only weakly at high speed winds exceeding 55 miles an hour. And the higher frequency tone was completely eliminated for all tested wind speeds. So the highest speed of testing was 67 miles an hour. After reviewing the test results, engineering staff and the consultant developed designs of C-clips with damping material inserts, which based on this test could be a potentially effective measure to attenuate the sound. In addition, the designs account for the clips to be easily fabricated, to be readily installed on the bridge railing pickets, to be durable enough to withstand the harsh environment conditions at the bridge, to be relatively easy to maintain, and to have no negative impact on the effectiveness of the wind retrofit. It was concluded that rectangular or chamfered aluminum C-clips fabricated to precise dimensions to fit over the edges of pickets would satisfy these requirements. However, to verify the sound attenuation capability of these clips and their most effective configurations over leading and or trailing edges of the pickets, and with different thicknesses of vibration damping inserts, additional wind tunnel testing of different arrangements of the clips is required. The consultant provided a cost proposal in the amount of $130,420 to perform such wind tunnel testing and analysis. Engineering staff has found the proposal to be fair and reasonable, and the DBA program administrator has verified that the proposal includes 9.2% DBE participation. In conclusion, staff recommends that the Building and Operating Committee recommend that the Board of Directors authorize the execution of the fourth addendum to the 9th Amendment to PSA number 2010-D1 with HDR Engineering in the not to exceed amount of $130,420 to perform the wind tunnel testing and analysis of the sound attenuation measures. HDR will be compensated for actual time expended and expenses incurred plus fixed fee. Staff also recommends that a 15% contingency for this fourth addendum in the amount of $19,500 be established for any additional scope of services that may develop while work progresses. Sufficient funds are available in the budget of the Golden Gate Bridge, Suspension Bridge Seismic and Wind Retrofit Phase 3B design project to finance the proposed fourth addendum and its contingency for a total of $149,920. And with this, I'm available to answer any question the committee may have for me.
Thank you, Ms. Bauer-Forbush. Before taking questions from the directors, I'll remark that I had actually a number of curiosities about the C-clips, but since they do not bear directly on the question at hand, which is the addendum to HDR's agreement with us, I will save those for another occasion. Are there any questions from the directors on this item? Hearing none. Madam Secretary, is there anyone from the public who wants to speak about this?
We have no speakers on this item.
Then we can proceed along to a vote if I can get a motion.
Mr. Chair, I'll move the item.
Thank you, Director Cochran. Is there a second?
I'll second it. Patty? Oh,
And a couple of possible seconds. Madam Secretary, did you get those?
I did.
Okay. Then please proceed to a roll call vote.
Thank you. We're voting on item number 3 of B&O. I'm going to start with Director Arnold. Absent. Director Fredericks.
yes.
Yes. Director Garbarino.
Yes.
Yes. Director Grosball.
Yes.
Yes. Director Hernandez.
I'm sorry, I was not here to hear the debate, so I'm going to recuse myself. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you. Director Hill.
Yes.
Thank you. Director Maston.
Yes.
Thank you. Director Milgar. Absent. Director Rabbit.
Aye.
Aye. Director Rodoni. Absent. Director Snyder.
Aye.
Thank you. Director Stephanie. Absent. Director Cochran.
Yes.
Director Tirio.
Yes.
Thank you. And President Parr.
Yes.
Yes. Thank you. That motion passes. We have 10 ayes and 1 recusal. Thank you.
Okay. So on to item 4 on the agenda, which is to approve actions relative to the Golden Gate Bridge Physical Suicide Deterrent System project. Staff report begins on page 11, and it'll be Ms. Bauer-Furbush again to present to us. Ms. Bauer-Furbush, please proceed again.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. In this agenda item number 4 report, staff is asking for the committee and the board authorization to increase amounts allocated to 3 line items in the Physical Suicide Deterrent Project budget. First, to increase in the budget for district's engineering staff, contract administration, and construction engineering by increasing this budget item by $5,270,000. Second, increase to the professional services agreement with Secretariat International that it's providing expert construction scheduling and estimating and claim evaluation services for the project construction by increases this budget item by $925,000. And lastly, the third increase is to the professional services agreement with Summit Associates that is performing field inspection services of the project construction by increasing this budget item by $1,715,000. These increases are conditioned upon the Finance Auditing Committee's concurrence and the Board of Directors' approval of the $7,910,000 increase in the project budget. Today, in a separate staff report to the Finance Committee, staff will present a recommendation for the committee and the board to approve such increase in the suicide deterrent project budget to be funded with STP funds that were approved for the project by MTC at its April 2021 meeting. As has been previously reported to the committee, the contractor has not progressed the work as required by the contract and has informed the district that it will not complete the installation of the physical suicide deterrent system until July 2023 and will not complete the remaining work until November 2024. Also, as has been previously reported by staff, as a result of the delay, the remaining months of construction, which is now 40 additional months, will require additional contract administration and construction engineering efforts of engineering staff and consultants, including the participation in the claim evaluation and defense efforts, as well as additional California Highway Patrol traffic control support services, and National Park Service permit fees. Staff has performed an analysis of the remaining project project budget to determine the necessary budget increases to carry the project through the end of construction for additional 40 months. Of immediate concerns are the budget for engineering staff, the scheduled claim support services, and the field inspection services, which are estimated to be depleted by the end of June, October, and July of this year, respectively. The budget increase for the engineering staff is necessary to ensure the continuation of construction administration, engineering, and inspection of the contract work, as well as the continued administration and monitoring of the consultant support services contract. Staff recommends that at this time, a budget increase in the amount of $5,270,000 be made to the project staff budget to allow for a continuation of these efforts through approximately November 2022. Engineering staff will monitor the progress of the construction work and will make an assessment at a later date of the additional budget amount necessary to finance engineering staff working on the project through the construction completion. A budget increase for PSA number 2018-B7 with Secretariat International is necessary to continue their services consisting of performing reviews and providing comments and recommendations on the construction contractor's schedules, reviewing and providing recommendations on time impact analysis and notices of delay, notices of compensable change, notices of potential claim and claims, providing cost estimates and independent check cost estimates of contract change orders, attending monthly and other schedule update meetings, and providing recommendations on the approach to resolution of schedule-related disputes. Staff recommends that at this time, amendment number 2 to PSA number 2018-B7 be made for continuation of the consultant services through approximately November 2022. Secretariat International provided a cost proposal in the amount of $925,000 to perform the scheduling and claim supported services through approximately November 2022. Engineering staff has found the proposal to be fair and reasonable. The district's DBE program administrator has verified that this increased PSA amount includes a proposed 7% DBE sub-consultant participation. Secretariat will be compensated for actual time expended and expenses incurred plus a fixed fee. Engineering staff will monitor the progress of the construction work and will make an assessment at a later date of any of the additional, if any, budget amount necessary to finance additional scheduling and claim supported services with the construction through the construction completion. And lastly, a budget increase for PSA number 2018-D84 with Summit Associates is necessary to continue the construction, to continue the consultant services consisting of reviewing the construction contractor's work plans and submittals related to the work, performing field inspections of and writing daily reports on the work performed by the construction contractor, including traffic control, painting, and steel erection, and participating in meetings with the district and the contractor. Summit Associate staff has been assisting the district with traffic control during nighttime operations, steel erection inspections during both night and daytime operations, and field paint inspections during both night and daytime shifts. The engineering department does not currently have enough staff to cover inspections required by ongoing district construction projects. Therefore, we need the continuation of Summit services. Staff recommends that at this time, amendment number 2 to PSA number 2018-B84 be made for a continuation of the consultant services through approximately November 2022. Summit provided a cost proposal in the amount not to exceed $1,715,000 to perform the field inspection support services through approximately November 2022. Engineering staff has found the proposal to be fair and reasonable. The DB program administrator has verified that this additional PSA amount includes approximately 65.8% DDE participation. Summit is a DDE certified company. Summit will be compensated for actual time expended and expenses incurred plus a fixed fee for the not to exceed authorized amount. And again, we will monitor the progress of construction and determine whether any other increases in this PSA amount will be necessary. So in conclusion, engineering staff recommends that the Building and Operating Committee recommend that the Board of Directors authorize budget increases outlined in this staff report. And lastly, the district is continuing to work with its funding partners to secure additional funds for the project, to fund the remaining construction administration and construction engineering by engineering staff and consultant support services. And staff will submit recommendations for any additional budget increases determined to be necessary at future committee meetings. With this, I'm available to answer any question the committee may have for me.
Thank you again, Ms. Bauer-Furbush. Do any of the board members have questions or comments for Ms. Bauer-Furbush?
Director Maston, I have a quick question.
Yes, please go ahead, Director Maston.
Yeah. Are any of the increased costs recoverable?
We do have, under this contract, we have liquidated damages that can be assessed if the contractor is causing the delay. So at this point, we intend to apply these liquidated damages at the end of the contract that may allow us to recover a percentage of these costs.
Okay, thank you.
Are there any other questions from the directors or comments for Ms. Bauer-Furbush?
This is Dick. I had one comment.
Please go ahead, Director Grosswald.
Ava, we don't really have much choice on this, do we? We could hardly turn you down. We need, don't we?
Yes, I mean, we need to finish construction. We will definitely finish construction. We will have the net in place and the travelers on the bridge, but this requires, patience and additional money.
Well, we've learned patience. Thank you.
Thank you, Director Grossball. Any other directors with comments or questions? Hearing none, Madam Secretary, do we have anybody from the public who wants to speak on this?
We have no speakers on this item.
Then we can proceed to a motion. Is there anyone with a motion?
I will move.
So moved, Mr. Chair. This is Director Hernandez.
All right.
Okay, do we have a motion from Director Hernandez? Second?
Second.
There's a second. Madam Secretary, then, you have the motion and the second. Let's do a roll call vote.
Thank you. We're voting on item number 4, starting with Director Arnold. Absent. Director Fredericks.
Yes.
Yes. Director Garbarino.
Yes.
Yes. Director Grossball.
Yes.
Thank you. Director Hernandez.
Aye.
Aye. Director Hill.
Yes.
Director Maston.
Aye.
Director Milger. Absent. Director Rabbit.
Aye.
Aye. Director Rodoni. Absent. Director Snyder.
Yes.
Yes. Director Stephanie. Absent. Second Vice President Cochran.
Yes.
Yes. First Vice President Terrio.
Yes.
Yes. And President Barr.
Yes.
Thank you. That motion passes unanimously.
Thank you. Item 5 on the agenda is to approve actions relative to contract number 2020 F047, Ferry Fleet Scheduled Dry Dockings and Capital Improvements. Staff report begins on page 21. We will have a presentation from Jim Swindler. Mr. Swindler, are you among us?
Yes, I am, sir.
Go ahead, please.
Yes, good morning, Mr. Chairman, fellow committee members. The item before you is to approve actions relative to contract number 2020 F-047, Ferry Fleet Scheduled Dry Dockings and Capital Improvements. There are 3 specific actions required this morning. First, to authorize the general manager to approve change order number 1030 in the estimated amount of $505,621,000 for unanticipated work to repair the MV Mendocino. And second, to authorize an increase in the contract contingency from $459,701, approximately 10% of the original contract contingency, to increase that contingency to $1,231,637, approximately 27% of the original contract contingency. This is necessary to ensure funds are available to cover change order number 1030 and additional unexpected work that may be necessary. And third, to authorize a transfer of $1,250,000 from project number 2140 to project number 2040 in the Ferry Division capital budget in order to fund the change order work for the MV Mendocino. By way of background, on October 22nd, 2020, the Board of Directors awarded contract number 2020 F047, Ferry Fleet Scheduled Dry Dockings and Capital Improvements to Marine Group Boatworks, a San Diego shipyard, in the amount of $4,597,003. This contract includes 2 projects made up of 4 vessels. First, the Mendocino, project number 2040, and then the vessels Del Norte, Golden Gate, and Napa, project 2140. The item is primarily the result of additional work identified on the MV Mendocino, project 2040. After the vessel was dry docked and the superstructure was separated from the catamaran hulls, an inspection of the previously inaccessible areas was conducted by the United States Coast Guard, district staff, and our naval architect. As a result, significant pitting and wastage was identified on much of the structure, including plate and many of the transverse members. After review and development of drawings to replace and or repair the affected areas, the shipyard was asked to prepare an estimate of the work necessary and has submitted change order number 1030. This change order, along with a number of other smaller, more routine change orders, will exceed the original contract contingency for project 2040. As a result, to ensure funds are available to complete the Mendocino work, staff is recommending an increase in the contingency for project 2040 as stated in action item number 2. This matter will be presented to the Finance and Auditing Committee for its concurrence, and this concludes my presentation. However, I am available to answer any questions you may have.
Thank you, Mr. Swindler. I will remark, as the owner of a house from 1900, that anytime one opens up something old, one finds the unexpected. Do any of the directors have questions or comments for Mr. Swindler?
Director Maston?
Go ahead, please, Director Maston.
Thank you. Well, since this deals with the MV Mendocino, how could I not have a question? So the fiscal impact narrative on page 22 states that the original project for 2040, the 2040 budget, stated at $8,385 or $8,385,000, and the 2041 at $4 million. And those numbers are reflected in tables 2 and 3. The table 1 indicates an original contract and contingency amount of almost $3.4 million and $1.6 million respectively. I finally gave up on trying to figure out what the discrepancy or the disparity was between tables 1 and 2 and 3. Could you explain that to me, please, or to the board?
If you want, I'll jump in, and Jim will correct me. Table 1 deals with a contract with a shipyard, and tables 2 and 3 deal with 2 different projects. Those 2 different projects provide some of their funding to the contract with Marine Group Boat Works that's subject to the change order. So table 1 deals with the contract. Table 2 and 3 deal with budgets for 2 projects that are commingled to fund a variety of different contracts. So this is a contract for, if you wish, the construction work in the shipyard. There are contracts for naval architects and other things and other work. And so that makes it confusing anytime you have a contract funded with multiple sources. Fortunately, it doesn't happen too often. Another one was just before us on the agenda, which was Ava's item on the wind retrofit. Mm-hmm. The construction contract with Shimmick, or the design contract with HDR, deals with the wind retrofit and the seismic retrofit. And so those are contracts that are funded from 2 different projects. One project is seismic retrofit. The other project is the wind retrofit. So when these occur, we always struggle with how to tell that story and present it well. And we talked about these tables yesterday. We, in hindsight, could have done a better job with respect to this project. But fundamentally, we have 2 projects that are in your capital budget, and a portion of the monies from those 2 projects went into a specific contract with Marine Group Boat Works for fixed work. That contract for the shipyard has change orders exceeding the original amount, and we needed to shift money around between the 2 projects that send some of their money to it. And I'm not sure if I made it more confusing or not with that explanation.
No, well, that helps clarify some of it. My brain finally started smoking, and I decided to give it up. Thought I'd ask. So thank you.
Welcome to the club.
Yeah, we don't need any more smoke in Mendocino. Okay,
that's true.
Any other directors with questions for Mr. Swindler? Hearing none, Madam Secretary, anyone from the public this time?
We have no speakers on this item as well.
Then once again, I am looking for a motion on the item.
So moved.
Okay, there's a motion.
I'll second.
And a crowd of seconds. Madam Secretary, if you've sorted those out, we'll take a roll call vote.
I did. Thank you very much. We're voting. We're taking a vote on item number 5, starting with Director Arnold. Absent. Director Fredericks.
Yes.
Yes. Director Garbarino.
Yeah.
Yes. Director Grosball.
Yes, and Madam Secretary, I'm going to probably miss the next couple of votes, so don't be surprised you don't hear me. I have a conflict. So.
Okay, thank you. Director Hernandez.
Aye.
Aye. Director Hill.
Aye.
Aye. Director Maston.
Aye.
Director Melgar. Absent. Director Rabbit.
Aye.
Director Rodoni. Absent. Director Snyder.
Aye.
Director Stephanie. Absent. Second Vice President Cochran.
Yes.
Yes. First Vice President Terrell.
Yes.
Yes. And President Parr.
Aye.
Aye.
Thank you. That motion passes unanimously.
Thank you, Madam Secretary. We're on then item number 6, which is to authorize execution of professional services agreements relative to request for proposals number 2021 D001, on-call cybersecurity professional services. Staff report begins on page 25, and we have Kelly Hopper on the line to present this report. Ms. Hopper, please begin your presentation.
Thank you, Chair Terrio and members of the committee. I am seeking an authorization for the execution of 5 professional service agreements for the on-call cybersecurity contract for a 3-year term, not to exceed an aggregate of $2,250,000, with 2 additional 1-year options that would not to exceed $750,000 in any 1 year, subject to the option to be exercised by the general manager. Just a brief background. In 2017, we saw that technology was continuing to change so quickly and that there was some individualized expertise needed for limited term projects, special projects, or special needs. The committee actually, the IT department and the board approved a bench consulting for consultants to come in and provide some of that as needed cybersecurity services. And we are now at the conclusion of that contract and have gone out again. So in November of last year, the district actually sent the notice of the RFP to about 210 potential proposers. We received 21 proposals back, and the evaluation committee reviewed those and evaluated them and then brought in the top 7 for an interview. And then based on that, they made their final recommendations that you see outlined here in the report today. I would like to note in closing that of the 5 vendors that are recommended for selection, one of the recommended vendors is an SPE, and another recommended vendor has included a DBE subconsultant component in their proposal. So I'm available to answer any questions you might have about this. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Kelly, or Ms. Hopper, rather. Are there any questions from the directors for Ms. Hopper?
Mr. Chair, I have a question. This is President Parr.
Yes, please go ahead, President Parr.
Kelly, I noticed that, thank you for that. I noticed that that as part of the Finance Committee meeting that we're talking about insurance, cyber protection insurance. And as I read this and read that there were 5 different organizations on the bench, which I think is wonderful. My real question is that enough money? I think cybersecurity is upfront and extremely important now. And I assume that you did due diligence and $2.2 million is enough, but $750,000 a year doesn't sound like much for cybersecurity. So that's my question.
Thank you, President Parr. And I don't want to get out in front of my general manager because I haven't had a chance to speak with him, but this is only the technical components of cybersecurity. And I am going to be talking with Dennis here in the next little while about ensuring that as an organization, we are comprehensive in our overall protection of data and of our cybersecurity. So this is more at the level of making sure that our data loss prevention systems are accurate, that we do these penetration tests, internal and external penetration, some of our cloud environment secure. So this is kind of that technical component, but I will be and plan on speaking with Dennis about maybe looking at a more comprehensive program that talks about the human capital impacts and some of the other impacts outside of technology as it relates to data security and cybersecurity.
Okay, and we'll be spending more money. We'll be spending more money, President Parr. 1 o'clock, Kelly Fong and some of our IT staff were meeting for several hours on this very topic, particularly in light of some of the incidents that have happened to power companies, meatpacking companies, sister transit agencies here in the Bay Area. And so it is something that Kelly's team has at the forefront. And we will have additional items beyond this, but for different activities to help further safeguard our systems.
Okay, thank you. I appreciate that clarification.
Thank you. Do any of the other directors have questions or comments? If not, Ms. Hopper, I have a question myself, with the indulgence of the committee. We are 5 different vendors in what is basically the same field. Are there possibilities of conflicts in their different solutions to what is basically the same issue, or do we have some way of ensuring consistency with their solutions?
So, Cheerio, it's based usually on technical expertise or need. Like, for instance, if we needed something, we have where we handle Microsoft Cloud environment to applications here at the district, that we have particular vendors in here who have that expertise. Whereas if we needed someone to help us with the data prevention, our security, that we would have someone that would be able to help us there. So they tend to be consistent, but we have a bench to give us a wide variety of expertise that maybe one firm would not be able to provide us that we would need. Okay.
I guess that more or less answers my question. Any other directors now have anything to ask? Then, Madam Secretary, do we have anyone from the public who wants to speak on this?
We have no speakers on this side.
Then, once again, I'm looking for a motion.
So this is Director Fredericks. I move to approve the staff recommendations.
Thank you, Director Fredericks. Is there a second?
Second.
And a second from Director Masson, I think it was. Madam Secretary, then, would you please do a roll call vote?
Thank you. This is for item number 6, starting with Director Arnold. Absent. Director Fredericks.
Yes.
Director Garbarino.
Yes.
Thank you. Director Grosball has left us. Director Hernandez.
Aye.
Thank you. Director Hill.
Yes.
Yes. Director Maston.
Aye.
Director Melgar. Absent. Director Rabbit.
Aye.
Aye. Director Rodoni. Absent. Director Snyder.
Aye.
Thank you. Director Stephanie. Absent. Second Vice President Cochran.
Yes.
Yes. First Vice President Terrio.
Yes.
And President Parr.
Aye.
Thank you. That motion passes unanimously. Thank you.
Thank you, Madam Secretary. Next, we have item 7, authorize the execution of the third amendment to contract number 2017 D40, Castus 2017 upgrade to GIRO, Inc. The staff report is on page 29. We'll have Ms. Hopper again to present it. Ms. Hopper, please proceed.
Thank you very much again. We are asking for the authorization for the third amendment of the HASTUS scheduling system contract for a 3-year term. And this is the maintenance and support element of our HASTUS system. Additionally, as an additional part of the recommendation, we're asking for authorization to allow the general manager to approve additional amendments for future years maintenance and support that's required as part of this software system, provided that the annual cost of the maintenance and support does not exceed 3% of the prior year's pricing. So we're asking for those 2 approvals. Just in a brief background, HASTUS is pretty much a globally known scheduling system, software scheduling system. Several of the large employers here in the Bay, as well as around the nation, utilize it. It provides an optimization of both staffing and scheduling systems, and we've actually had that in place here at the district since the late 90s, 1998, is when we first licensed that here at the district. We recently underwent an upgrade during the pandemic, actually, in April of last year. We completed the first phase of that upgrade, and at the time that upgrade, it included 1 year of maintenance and support, and now we're nearing the end of that at the end of June. So GIRO, who is the mother company of HASTUS, submitted a proposal for continuing maintenance support for a 3-year term, as is outlined here in the report, at a total cost of $614,357 for a 3-year term. And with this recommendation, again, as a refresher, is we're asking that the board approve this item and allow the general manager to continue to extend the maintenance for additional years, as long as we're able to limit the cost, the increase to no more than 3% of the previous year's pricing. So I'm available to answer any questions you may have about this item. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Hopper. So back to the board. Do any of the directors have questions or comments for Ms. Hopper on this item?
Director Masson, question?
Please go ahead, Director Masson.
Yeah. So you mentioned that other agencies, AC Transit, BART, Samtrans, use this. Is this anything that could be a group bid to go out and see if we could get a lower rate?
I'll jump in because I've actually had that conversation with a couple of our peers. This is Dennis. This and Trapeze are the 2 most commonly used software packages among Bay Area operators. We do lots of joint procurements, like the buses we bought or received a year ago were actually under a Contra Costa County Transportation District's procurement. So we are in very preliminary discussions. The way it works, we don't think there's a lot of economies there, but we have had some preliminary discussions about that with some of the other vendors. Actually, BART gets credit for suggesting the idea, but at this juncture, it hasn't gone any place, Director Mastin.
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you. Do any other directors have questions or comments?
Mr. Chair, this is Director Hernandez. I have a question, please.
Please go ahead, Director Hernandez.
Thank you very much. As to the second part of this recommendation, does this arrangement, proposed arrangement, exist for any other contract at the district currently? I guess this is a question for Dennis.
Yes, it does. So we have contracts with renewals, and it's commonly the renewals have a modest CPI increase baked into them.
Okay, but it's not approved as a standard policy, and that's why we're seeing it today. Is that correct?
That is correct. Anytime I want the approval for amendments, we try to be as prescriptive as possible. We try to spell out any change in pricing. And so you generally see that in staff reports. Sometimes there are fixed dollar amounts for the increases. Sometimes there's fixed percentages. This one's a not to exceed, but there's a couple different fashions that they're negotiated. But we always try to list that amount to be transparent with the public.
Thank you very much. Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Thank you, Director Hernandez. Any other directors have questions or comments?
Chair Terrio, this is Bert. I have a question.
Please go ahead, Director Hill.
Without knowing anything about this, I'll ask possibly a stupid question, but since a number of the other agencies are using this also, is there any way of integrating it together somewhat in a seamless way to promote more interaction so that we can both optimize for our benefit and for the benefit of passengers? To be able to, let's say, just say streamline the ability to move around the Bay Area. I hope you understand that question.
I do, and correct me if I'm wrong, I believe the question deals more with schedule coordination as opposed to software. Whether someone's on a Windows-based PC or an Apple Macintosh doesn't really matter. What matters is, are the schedules coordinated? In the North Bay, the schedules are coordinated. The SMART trains, Golden Gate buses, and Marin Transit buses are all timed to the pulse at the San Rafael Transit Center. That having been said, it's not universal throughout the Bay Area, but since the start of the pandemic, a lot of effort's been placed on schedule coordination. And one key thing to achieve schedule coordination is obviously that all the agencies talk together and time things like we do in the North Bay. But the other thing is that we have consistent sign-up changes. A lot of the schedule coordination effort is tied to BART. Over a dozen agencies connect to BART stations, and most of those agencies have different signups for their operations staff during different times of the year. And so we are in preliminary discussions throughout the region to standardize when we do our bidding with our workforce on schedule changes. But with respect to that, about a month ago, BART and Caltrain rescheduled their timing so that the Millbrae connection, which is kind of a vital one, does work seamlessly. And we're now focused on a couple other connections collectively in the Bay Area. But that's regardless of what software people use. Like I said, the analogies doesn't matter if we're PC or Apple-based. What matters is that the conversations are happening and the focus and effort is there. And we've seen a sea change since the start of the pandemic, and we look forward to continuing that throughout the region.
Thank you. Any other directors with comments or questions? Hearing none, once again, Madam Secretary, is there anyone from the public who wants to say something on this?
We have no speakers on this item.
Then I will look for a motion.
Patty,
I'll move.
so
This
moved.
is Bert Hill.
Okay.
I think Director Garbarino beat you to it, Director Hill, and but we'll take you as a second. How's that?
Right.
Just fine, thank you.
Okay. Then, Madam Secretary, a roll call vote.
Thank you. We're voting on item number 7, starting with Director Arnold. Absent. Director Fredericks?
Yes.
Yes. Director Garbarino?
Yes.
Thank you. Director Grosboll? Absent. Director Hernandez?
Aye.
Aye. Director Hill?
Yes.
Yes. Director Mastin?
Aye.
Director Melgar. Absent. Director Rabbit.
Aye.
Aye. Director Rodoni. Absent. Director Snyder.
Aye.
Aye. Director Stephanie. Absent. Second Vice President Cochran.
Yes.
First Vice President Terrio.
Yes.
And President Barr.
Aye.
Thank you. That motion passes unanimously.
Thank you, Madam Secretary. Item number 8 is a status report from board appointees on the Sonoma Marin Area Rail Transit Board. Link to the SMART website is on page 31 of your packet. President Parr, Director Garbarino, which of you wants to go ahead with this, or do you have a report for us this meeting?
Director Garbarino will give a report today. Thank you, Patty.
Thank you so much. Before my report, I want to profusely apologize for my comment at the beginning of this committee meeting. I was we're kicking off moving responsibilities into the next generation here at Marin Sanitary, which is huge and close to my heart. And so I got that meeting started. Also, I haven't slept in 3 nights. My dear 13-year-old doggy is not well, so I'm a little goofier than usual. I apologize.
No problem.
Thank you. So, yes, the SMART report from our June 2nd board meeting, since we all met last, and June 16th. On the June 2nd board meeting, we adopted the budget. On the June 16th meeting, which was very short, we were able to, and since that time, announce that SMART is approaching 2 million passengers, which is huge and wonderful, and making progress toward the continued increase in ridership. And I'll just give an example. This time last year, we had average daily at, actually average weekly at 393 passengers. We're up to 838 now. Bicycles, Bert, this will make you happy. 426 up to 760 now. Many of you may also know that we are going to be losing our dear General Manager, Farhad Mansourian. He is retiring largely due to family needs, and we wish him all the very best and well. The search for a new General Manager is underway, and board members will be meeting the beginning of September. We've all been interviewed as well, with the goal of appointing a replacement general manager, a new general manager on October 20th. And also good news, or on the good news front, in addition to 2 million passengers, we've got an excellent first step in the works in the way of a House bill, and thank you, Jared Huffman, for $13.6 million to rebuild the Healdsburg Bridge. So hoping that goes through. Finally, 2 other things, awarded a contract to Precision Wireless for SMART's land mobile radio maintenance and support, and authorized an award of contract for tax auditing and forecasting services to Muni Services LLC. And I'm happy to answer any questions, and I'll be more on it tomorrow. I promise I'll get sleep tonight.
Any directors with questions for Director Garbarino? Hearing none. President Parr, did you have anything to add to her report?
Just to thank you very much, and it's a tough time all around. We all have too many meetings and too many things going on, so I appreciate the fact everyone continues to come to our meetings. And thank you again, Patty.
And my thanks to Director Garbarino as well. And Director Rabbit, sometimes you chip in on this too. Did you want to on this occasion?
I think Patty summed it up pretty well. I think, we did our listening sessions, and we've taken that information that we've heard from, I think we had about 10 different sessions within every jurisdiction of the 2 counties, taken that forward and enacted some measures based upon what we heard. And so I think that's also a very much of a positive thing for SMART going forward. So like Golden Gate, we are excited about people coming back onto the train, the bus, the ferry, and getting back into a more normal flow of life. So we're optimistic.
Thank you, Director Rabbit.
I heard.
At this point, I'm
we
sorry?
just had your 2 millionth rider, correct?
We did, and
Yeah.
there's a promotion going on as well. So I think we've taken some positive steps to try to entice people back. But again, the regular commuter riders aren't going to be back until their offices are fully open. But we do hope to keep adding to it, and we're again optimistic and trying to stay on top of things.
This is President Vargas. Just as a matter of those of us who are on the Smart Board do have some tickets that allow you in the next 2 or 3 weeks to ride the Smart Train for free as celebrating our 2 millionth customer. So if any of you are interested in taking your family on a little trip on one of the Smart Trains, let Amarette know or let me know, and I will certainly get some passes to you.
Thank you, President Parr. Any other directors with comments or questions on this? Then, Madam Secretary, one last time, anyone from the public who wants to talk on this?
No one wants to speak on this item. We do have a public commenter on item number 9, the next one, so we'll move on to the next.
Excuse me,
Very
this is Bert, Chair Terrio. I'd like to ask a question.
Yes, Director Hill, go ahead.
Before we go to public. Back to number 3, just a quick one. I didn't at the time ask, but what do you think is the schedule for when this is likely, these clips are likely to be completed so that we can go back to normalcy on sound from the bridge rail? Any view of when you're talking about this at this time?
Is Ms. Bauer-Ferbush still with us?
Yes, I am. So we are ready to start the second series of tests on Saturday and continue through the following week. So we hope that we will find a successful solution to the problem. But then we will have to, of course, do the estimating and develop certain other logistics related. If we obtain the board approval of proceeding with the mitigation measure, then we have to jump few other hoops. But we're pushing forward as fast as we possibly can.
This year?
Oh, yeah, definitely.
Okay. That's just what I wanted, because I'm sure the public is going to be interested in where this is going, so that's why I asked.
Thank you, Ms. Ferbush, and thank you, Director Hill. That actually is back to an earlier item, but do we have any further questions on this particular item, the report from the members of the Smart Board? Hearing none, and there being no public comment on this, we're on to item number 9, which is Ms. Bauer-Ferbush's status report on engineering project. Ms. Bauer-Ferbush, if you would, please.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. The engineer's report is before the committee, and I'm available to answer any question the committee may have for me.
And we have items that are changes in that report highlighted in yellow once again. If anyone has questions on them or on the report more generally, please ask them now. Anyone from the board who wishes to ask questions? I hear none, but we do have a member from the public who wants to comment. So, Madam Secretary, let's go that way.
Okay, thank you. In a second, I'm going to join the line. And David Pilpel, are you still with us?
I think so. Can you hear me now?
I can. Go ahead.
Great. Okay. So on item 9, the engineering project status report, the report keeps getting longer and more detailed, which is great. It's got narrative, it's got numbers, it tells a story on each project, it responds to director and public concerns about the various district projects. I think it's actually a model approach that other agencies should use. Most other agencies don't have this kind of a detailed public report on their engineering projects in this way. It's totally helpful. really a model. My only suggestion, because it keeps getting longer and more detailed, is to either have a table of contents on the first page, or at a minimum, when each new project is introduced, to maybe put that in bold, because it's a little hard to find each new project. They're just underlined, but they're not in bold or bulleted on a list or something. But other than that, it's really great, and I haven't commented on this before, but I did want to appreciate Ms. Bauer-Furbish and her staff and all the work that goes into the projects and reporting on them. And then the other side comment I was going to make in general, maybe the theme for the district for the past year is muting and commuting, or not, because all of our meetings seem to be about muting and unmuting more so than the amount of co-muting, which seems to be less than it normally would. Anyway, those are my thoughts. Thanks.
Thank you, Mr. Bilfeld. Madam Secretary, anyone else?
No, that concludes our public comments. Thank you, David.
Okay. So that was all we have for this particular meeting. I could use a motion to adjourn.
So moved, Rabbit. Second.
Rabbit to adjourn. And is there a second?
Second, Maston.
A couple of seconds if there's no objections. So I hear any objections? Then this concludes the meeting of the Building and Operating Committee. Thank you, colleagues. The time is 11:32 a.m.